Suddenly I felt myself pulled upward with tremendous force, similar to the recoil of a bungee jump. Almost instantly, I entered a tunnel-like structure, roughly 10 to 15 feet in diameter. I began accelerating rapidly through it. Welcome to Let's Lift the Veil. Some experiences don't just change a life, they redefine what it means to exist. Today's story is one of those rare testimonies. During what was supposed to be a routine medical procedure, a man crossed the threshold between life and death, and came back with an unshakable certainty about love, consciousness, and what awaits us beyond this world. Before the story begins, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like this video. These testimonies help bring comfort, perspective, and hope to people who may need it more than they realize. Now close your eyes, breathe in, and let's lift the veil together. I never imagined that a routine medical procedure would become the most defining moment of my existence. In early 2024, I scheduled what was supposed to be a simple, minimally invasive elective surgery to remove a lipoma from my back. I was healthy, physically fit, and passed all preoperative screenings without the slightest concern. Death was the furthest thing from my mind. On the morning of May 16, 2024, I arrived at the surgery center, calm and confident. I briefly met with my anesthesiologist, and after discussing the available options, we agreed that general anesthesia would be the safest and most effective choice, given the size and location of the tumor. An IV was placed, and soon after, I was wheeled into the operating room and transferred onto a surprisingly narrow and uncomfortable table. I remember the anesthesiologist standing behind me, at the head of the bed, telling me he was beginning the sedation process. He asked if I felt anything yet, like you're a little bit drunk? I replied honestly, saying I didn't really feel much, maybe just a slight difference. That was the last earthly sensation I remember. The next moment, I found myself hovering near the ceiling of the operating room, looking down at my own body. What I saw was chaos. The nursing staff was frantic, shouting profanities, rushing around my lifeless form in a desperate attempt to resuscitate me. I was not confused, afraid, or startled. I was profoundly calm and intensely aware. I understood immediately that I had left my body, and I was more conscious than I had ever been in my life. Suddenly I felt myself pulled upward with tremendous force, similar to the recoil of a bungee jump. Almost instantly, I entered a tunnel-like structure, roughly 10 to 15 feet in diameter. I began accelerating rapidly through it. The walls were dark brownish-black, semi-transparent, twisting and turning upward at roughly a 45-degree angle. I felt as though I was traveling at incredible speed, far faster than anything imaginable on Earth. Periodically, I could see through the left side of the tunnel where pale, mystical orbs of light drifted slowly in the opposite direction. They were soft pink, nearly translucent, and radiated an otherworldly serenity. Without warning, I emerged from the tunnel into a vast, star-filled realm. My movement slowed dramatically. I could see in all directions at once, a full 360-degree spherical vision. The stars were impossibly vivid, brilliant, and alive. Distance had no meaning. I could perceive vast expanses effortlessly. Off to my left, I noticed a light far away. At first, it seemed to move slowly toward me, and then suddenly, I was being drawn to it. In an instant, it was directly in front of me, glowing with an intensity beyond comparison. It resembled burning magnesium, yet far brighter, surrounded by golden yellow tendrils, swirling gracefully around a core of pure white light. As it hovered before me, I heard a high-pitched ringing sound, and then everything changed. I was overwhelmed by emotions unlike anything I had ever experienced. Unconditional love, absolute peace, indescribable joy, total acceptance, and profound understanding. This light was alive. It was intelligent. It knew me completely, and loved me without condition, with no judgment, and no expectations, only love. Then the light vanished. I found myself in a meadow of breathtaking beauty. Flowers, grass and trees pulsed with vibrant color far beyond anything on earth. The grass appeared to breathe. The trees seemed to have a heartbeat. The aroma was intoxicating, comforting, and familiar. I was moving through this meadow, yet I wasn't walking. I was suspended 10 or 12 feet above the ground. As I rounded a cluster of massive trees, near the forest's edge, I saw an otherworldly city in the distance, about a mile away. Its buildings were clear, glowing and radiant, enclosed by a maroon-colored wall with a marble-like texture. Despite the distance, I suddenly perceived the wall, as though it were directly in front of me. As I drifted closer, the environment shifted again. I sensed the forest to my left, still outdoors, yet now I was surrounded on 3 sides by countless black and white television screens drifting slowly past me. Each screen displayed a meaningful event from my life, dating back to early childhood. I wasn't just watching, I was reliving them, simultaneously. Even more astonishing, I could feel the emotions, thoughts and perspectives of everyone involved in each memory. Joy, pain, love, regret, all at once. Despite the intensity, there was no shame, no guilt, no judgment, only understanding. Time lost all meaning. The entire life review felt both instantaneous and eternal. Suddenly, the screens vanished. I was standing along the maroon wall outside the city. About 30 feet to my right was an iridescent gate, slightly open. To my left stood my grandmother, who passed away in 2000 at the age of 92. Here she appeared young, perhaps in her early 30s. She was radiant, unmistakable. Though I had never seen her young in photographs, I knew instantly it was her. Her upper body glowed with light, and her lower half was enveloped in mist. She communicated telepathically.
"What are you doing here, boy? It's not time for you to come back."
Immediately, I was pulled backward with tremendous force, re-entering my body through the top of my head with a loud popping sensation. I felt heavy, confined, struggling to see through the fog of an oxygen mask. My limbs were restrained. A female voice shouted, "We got him!" I knew exactly what had happened. My life, behind the veil. The days and weeks following my return were unlike anything I had ever known. Physically, I recovered quickly, though the lipoma was never removed, and oddly, I felt no urgency to revisit the procedure. Emotionally and spiritually, however, everything had changed. I shared my experience immediately with the medical staff. Their reactions were polite, distant, and dismissive. When my 80-year-old mother arrived, I described everything in detail. Her response was cautious, skeptical, and rooted in fear. Fear of judgment, fear of disbelief. That silence followed me for months. Yet inside me, something profound had shifted. I had struggled for years with severe depression and an overwhelming fear of death. Both vanished completely. Not gradually, but instantly. Death no longer felt like an ending. It felt like a return. I now live with an unshakable certainty that life continues, that consciousness survives, and that love is the fundamental fabric of existence. Spiritually, I transformed entirely. I had grown up around religion without embracing it, identifying as agnostic, and deeply skeptical of organized belief systems. After this experience, that skepticism dissolved. I consider myself deeply spiritual and a devout Christian, not out of doctrine or fear, but out of first-hand knowing. God exists, love is real, and it is unconditional. My values shifted. I love freely now. I tell people I love them without hesitation. I perform acts of kindness daily, not for reward, but because love feels natural. I take risks I once feared. I live boldly. I no longer feel separate from others or from nature. I haven't discovered any psychic gifts, at least none I can clearly define, but my intuition is sharper, my empathy deeper, my awareness expanded. I see people differently. I listen differently. And I forgive more easily. When I share my experience now, reactions vary. Some are skeptical. Some are uncomfortable. Others are deeply moved. I've learned not to convince, only to share, because truth speaks for itself. What matters most is this. I know I am loved unconditionally by the Creator of the universe. I know we will be reunited with our loved ones. And I know that heaven awaits everyone, regardless of belief, mistakes, or fear. That knowledge has freed me. Behind the veil there is no judgment, only love. Thank you for watching this near-death experience. Stories like this are not meant to convince, they are meant to resonate. If this testimony touched something deep within you, consider sharing it with someone who may be questioning, grieving, or searching for meaning. Your support helps these voices reach those who need them the most. Feel free to leave a comment below. Every reflection, every shared experience matters here. Subscribe to the channel to discover more near-death experiences and stories that explore consciousness, love, and what lies beyond. For more first-hand accounts, watch the next episode on the following screen. New narratives drop regularly. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss one. Let's keep lifting the veil, one episode at a time. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. See you soon for another journey beyond the veil.